of Idaho versus Jeremy Best. And counsel, thank you again for your appearances. We're joined by prosecuting attorney, Ms. Smith, and defense counsel, Mr. Archibald, and Mr. Stosich, and we welcome the defendant to today's proceedings. We're calendared for a scheduling conference, and while we were awaiting the defendant's arrival, counsel and I had a brief conversation in a breakout room attempting to identify potential trial settings. I think we've accomplished that, and if I may, I'll just state for the record to get confirming approval that this is the appropriate time set for trial. We were looking at September 15th of 2025, and we'll set aside a number of weeks for trial. And as the case develops with discovery and determinations and motions, the kind of trial setting that we'll need and endure through those dates. Let me just confirm first with you, Mr. Archibald, is that date to start trial agreeable?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Smith, how about your office?
That's agreeable to the date, Your Honor.
Okay, and I think we confirmed with Mr. Stosich as well, but I'll do it again. Mr. Stosich, is that date agreeable with you?
It is, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So what are the parties' thoughts regarding a pretrial conference? Would you like a special setting? What are your suggestions, and how far out from trial would it make sense to conduct our pretrial conference? My view would be that all of the motion work will have been done by the pretrial conference, and so essentially we would just be covering those last minute details of our trial at a pretrial conference. Does anyone have a particular request or suggestion?
No, just the regular pretrial conference setting would be fine.
All right, then, Madam Clerk, I'm getting indications from the prosecution that that sounds agreeable as well. Why don't we look at a pretrial conference? My suggestion might be even perhaps 4 weeks in advance of trial. And so I'll invite Madam Clerk of Teton County to look at the calendar locally in Teton County and determine what the most appropriate day would be and perhaps time.
So that would be July. Do you want to on it Tuesday, or do you want to Wednesday? Or
yeah, let's maintain that Tuesday. We'll talk about the state's proposed pretrial motion calendar as well. So perhaps a Tuesday, Madam Clerk in Teton, does that sound agreeable?
That works fine for us. August 12th.
if you're doing for
Counsel, how do you like that? August the 12th.
At what time?
Perhaps 1:30.
Yes.
That works for the state as well, Your Honor.
Okay. And then perhaps it makes sense. I noticed that the state had filed this scheduling order motion. Mr. Archibald, have you had a chance to either visit with the state or review that to see if that seems agreeable?
Yes. They sent a stipulation and then a motion. I'm not comfortable with some of the language in their motion saying that this case basically takes priority over all other cases. So I'm not okay with that language in their proposed motion and order. And so, but as far as the every month, the second Tuesday, that's when Madison County has their arraignments and change of plea calendar or misdemeanors every Tuesday afternoon. But if it's only one Tuesday afternoon a month, then I'm okay with that. So for example, April 9th I already have hearings, but I can move those around. May 14th is okay. June 11th, July 9th, August 13th. So if we're setting these on every second Tuesday, I think one of the proposals was twice a month, but I don't think I could do that. But I could rearrange, have another lawyer fill in for me one Tuesday afternoon a month.
Thank you, Mr. Archibald. I have a few thoughts in response to the proposed order, but Ms. Smith, do you want to invite or share any comments from the prosecution about your objective?
Sure, Your Honor. I was endeavoring to allow the council and Your Honor to manage our calendars more efficiently, where we all have other cases and other obligations to juggle. From the state's perspective, it would be helpful to know in advance that absent something unexpected or time pressing, that we can all count on motion hearings being held on one particular day in the month. So I wish council and I had a chance to discuss to find some agreeable language, and perhaps we could confer and submit another order that would be agreeable to everyone.
Okay, well, thank you. I think between the comments of both of you, we're ending up mostly on the same page. My view is perhaps an order will help the parties. I don't necessarily think it's going to be required, but I appreciate the idea, and we can accomplish that today, of setting aside essentially that same identified Tuesday of each month, recognizing that there might be some adjustments, just as Mr. Archibald suggested, and the court will have its own calendar and trial calendar here in Bonneville County. My expectation would be you simply follow the rules, but when you contact Madam Clerk for the notice, we anticipate following today, if you agree, that it would take place on a Tuesday in the afternoon. And I would still appreciate the contacting of the clerk, potentially with the motion, and when available, even a brief, because there's work that the court can do in advance and to assist the parties. Perhaps there are issues where the court would be ruling from the bench as opposed to taking it under advisement and issuing written decisions. And so I think we're all in agreement that the second Tuesday of each month, when there is to be a hearing that we agree upon is convenient to all parties, counsel and court, that's the time it will be heard. And does that sound like a fair approach? And if the two of you want to visit more specifically and present a stipulated order, then I can review that. But if no one has any objection to identifying the second Tuesday of each month, then let's anticipate that.
Yes, I would just ask for the court's standard form notice of hearing. And so if we put those, at least for the next 5 months, April 9th, May 14th, June 11th, July 9th, and August 13th. If we send out a notice of hearing, that's a time set aside for us to notice up our hearings. For example, I have a motion to dismiss indictment. I need to set up for a hearing, whether that's April 9th, if counsel thinks they can be ready by then, or May 14th. If counsel would like some additional time, that's okay. So, but at least if we have those, if the court sends out a notice of hearing, then that will cause us to put it on our calendar and reserve that time.
Okay, thank you, I agree. And I will be reserving that time. One additional consideration that I think we'll have to make determinations along the way is, will they all be conducted over Zoom, or in some instances, the court may want to make its appearance in Teton County. And when I understand what the motions are, then I'll try in advance to let the parties know what to expect, and then the IT team is helping for today's proceeding. Anything else about that you would like to discuss?
No, thank you.
I think that covers it from the state's perspective, Your Honor.
Okay, well, very good. Let's test this then in the coming days and weeks to see if Mr. Archibald's motion is in fact calendar or any other motions that the state has that are forthcoming, and we'll work together. Is there other business that you'd like to conduct today while we're here with one another?
Your Honor, I'd like to address the Odyssey service. We have some extras on there that I don't know why they're on there. For example, the Bonneville County prosecutor is not a party to this litigation. I'm not sure why he's on our Odyssey service. John Malik was initially appointed in this case until it became a death penalty case, and then Mr. Sosich was appointed to assist me. So I think we can take off Mr. Malik and Mr. Malik's secretary. So I noticed those are the three items on there.
I come to the same conclusion with regards to Mr. Malik and his office. Ms. Smith, do you have any comment on the Bonneville County prosecuting attorney?
Your Honor, my understanding is that the Bonneville County prosecuting attorney would like to remain appraised of the ongoings in this case, as one of the murder scenes was found in his county. I don't think there's anything that prohibits it. So unless anyone has a reason why we mind, from my perspective, out of comity, I'd like to keep him on there so he has an easy way to stay appraised in the filings in the case.
Mr. Archibald, any other comment? And I have my view.
Well, he can access the case just like any other member of the public. He can look on the Idaho Cases of Interest website. He has extended access. He can look at what's happening just like any other prosecutor in the state. So I don't know why we would need to serve papers on a non-party.
Okay, so thank you. That's more consistent with the court's view. I would expect the Bonneville County Prosecutor's Office to be in contact with your office, Ms. Smith, but in terms of service, I think that steps 1 degree closer than is necessary and likely appropriate, just even for consistency in other matters, while there may be at least interest from other counties. And so I'll direct Madam Clerk. I don't know the technical steps that would be required for that, given the court's perspective in Odyssey, but I'll make sure that is addressed. Mr. Archibald, anything else for today?
Your Honor, I just wanted to notify the court and counsel that because of the death penalty notice, a resource judge has been assigned. So I appreciate that, the trial court administrator taking care of that. I have received an order for funding for my defense team. Again, appreciated that the taxpayers are willing to pay for a vigorous defense in this case. So I just wanted to appraise the court and counsel of that.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, anything else for today?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Okay, Counsel Archibald, let me just turn to you. As you've appeared in front of this court in many cases, at this time, I would generally ask the client if there was any questions that he has either for you or for me. Would you like me to continue that practice, or might I expect that any questions that he might have of the court or from the court come directly through you?
Yeah, I'm okay if you ask Jeremy if he has any questions.
Mr. Best, I think I welcomed you at the early part of the proceeding, so I do that again. Is there anything that you've heard today that you don't understand? Okay, I think you were muted when you responded, so, but I got the indication from your gesture that you don't have any questions. Give me one more gesture if you agree that you have no questions. Okay, very good. Well, thank you, counsel, for your appearances, and to all of the others that have joined and shown interest. And we will be in recess, and I'll be regularly checking Odyssey to see whether there have been filings, and reliance upon Madam Clerk to inform the court as well.